Quicken, Monarch, and Simplify. Three solid choices for managing your money, but which one actually gives you the clarity and control that you're looking for? Well, after putting them all through real-world testing, I found some strengths and weaknesses that you need to know about, and I'll reveal which one came out on top. Okay, let's start where I always do when testing new home budgeting software, which is digging into the reviews. And not just like the glowing ones that are plastered across the homepage for marketing and all that stuff, but like the one-star frustrations of people who usually hide in the fine print of Trustpilot in the App Store comments, on Reddit, and in other forums. For Quicken, I came across one review from a gentleman in his 80s who said that he really had no big problem with the software except for the cost for him. He said that he and his wife live on a fixed income, and the rising annual price just didn't make sense for how they used it, mainly just as a simple checkbook. He eventually canceled, even though he didn't want to. So yeah, I can understand this guy's frustration. Like, when your needs are pretty minimal and you don't have a ton of money to spend on software, like paying for advanced features that you rarely even touch can feel pretty wasteful. But from what I've seen, this person's experience and this review is kind of a rare situation. Most Quicken users, be it Simplify or Classic users, tap into far more than just a virtual checkbook and actually use the tools. And if cost ever becomes a sticking point for people, I guess they don't talk about it. Or, I mean, there are ways to get value through like seasonal promos or trimming unused subscriptions to offset it, or just making back your money from the software itself. But on the other hand, many users rave about their experience using this budgeting software and how it's affected their daily use, and how they now look like their long-time future is more positive. Like, one longtime Quicken user said that he moved over from Microsoft Money years ago and was worried about like transferring all of his data in, but then to his surprise, the transition was really smooth and he's been happy with Simplify ever since. Another user said that it keeps his bookkeeping in order, it reminds him to pay bills, and it helps track automatic charges, which is a feature that only actually became more important in our subscription-heavy world more recently. So I think that's something to mention. So while you do hear the occasional comment about the cost of Quicken, the overwhelming sentiment from loyal users is that it's reliable, it's powerful, and it gets better over time with updates. All right, now when I looked into Monarch reviews, I did see one reviewer who complained that there was no free version and compared it to EveryDollar, which offers a free version that you can test before getting the premium one. She also didn't like that the subscription pricing wasn't clear before downloading, which led her to uninstall it within minutes. But then again, Monarch's team actually replied to that, explaining that they don't run ads or sell your data, and that all the revenue comes from subscriptions, so they can improve the app over time, and that's why they don't have the free version. So, I mean, to me, that's a good explanation. It's a fair trade. Like, I'd rather pay for a tool that respects my privacy than get like a version just for free in exchange for selling off my personal financial data. And based on the many positive reviews I saw, most users actually agree and didn't have that kind of complaint. One user described Monarch as the best finance tracking app that he had ever used. He used Mint before and found it to be pretty frustrating and actually difficult to use. But Monarch is customizable, beautifully designed, and far easier to work with than Mint ever was. Now, when comparing the best home budget software, you can look into the reviews, and that's one thing, and you'll get a lot of information there. But actually trying it yourself and testing out the features is usually where things really start to separate. With Quicken Simplifi, one of my favorite features is the bills and income section. It doesn't just show past transactions, it can preview your future activity too. You can see all of your scheduled bill and income reminders for a given time frame, spot overdue items, and even view a combined cash flow. The spending plan overview tool is equally powerful. It updates in real time so you can see exactly how much you have left to spend. No mental math or sticky notes required. I found it especially useful during months with irregular expenses. Then there's Simplify's watch lists, which lets you keep tabs on specific spending areas with interactive graphs, while reports break down your income and expenses by payee, category, or tag. You can even track refunds thanks to the refund tracker and set savings goals for big purchases. Also, if you actually own property, there's a Zillow integration, which I think is really nice touch. It automatically tracks your real estate values so that you don't have to manually check comps every month and like add it to your total value. But when I started using Quicken Classic, I immediately realized that this budget software is just a different beast entirely. This is the heavy hitter for those who want complete control. The Classic Deluxe version offers deep category-based budgeting. It's perfect if you love customizing every part of your budget. The Classic Premier adds robust investment tracking for more active investors. It's packed with tools for hands-on, data-driven decision-making. So you can plan moves, track performance, and analyze your portfolio in more detail than Simplifi offers. And the Classic Business and Personal lets you manage both personal and small business finances under a single roof, so that I know I have a bunch of different expenses and different purchases in my personal life and for business, right? So basically it's clear, it's organized. It doesn't feel like you're juggling two different apps or switching between different banks and different systems just for different parts of your life. Unlike Simplifi's more streamlined approach, though, Classic feels like an all-in-one command center, like a lot more information and detail, but with this steeper learning curve for sure. All right, Monarch Money takes things in an entirely different track directly. I just love their budget forecast view, which lays out all 12 months in a grid so that you can plan for big expenses well in advance. So they do things very differently. Their use of AI helps categorize transactions more accurately and even generate reports with plain language commands. So there's also this additional feature which is useful for couples or families. So there's Monarch for couples, which lets multiple household members share one dashboard while keeping separate logins. So you can save that for family members, for your partner, for different people who you want to have different views. It's this balance between transparency and privacy that I think I haven't seen done as well anywhere else. So with all you get from these different best budgeting softwares, is it safe to call them like these perfect software tools, each in their own right? Right? Well, no. Unfortunately, no home budget software is perfect. Each has its own issues. And I think with Simplifi, the biggest hurdle for some is the paying for the features that they might not fully use. Like Classic, on the other hand, is like more overwhelming, really powerful, but you just need to invest the time to set it up. And Monarch's lack of like a free tier might turn away some casual users. But honestly, I just think these are like really minor trade-offs for the functionality that you get once you're on board. And when it comes to pricing, all three home budget tools land in a similar range for premium budgeting tools. Simplifi and Classic are both reasonably priced given their depth, while Monarch sits slightly higher but offers a modern, ad-free experience. If you're serious about finding the best home budget software, the small subscription cost is well worth the clarity and control you gain for any of these. So check the links in the description for their current pricing plans and any available discounts that they're offering currently. I'll keep it updated so that you don't miss out on any deals or savings. So after testing all three best home budgeting software, I found each has its own strengths and occasional weaknesses, but I think one will likely fit your style better than the others. Because for me, one gave me a little bit more control and an edge over the others. So whether you lean towards the integrated business personal blend of Simplifi and Classic, or the sleek customization of Monarch, you'll win either way if you actually use them to their fullest potential. So check the links in the description of this best budget software video to get started with our special discount and coupon.